May 8th, 1993, channel member Meat Goggles. This is one of them shows I just don't really know how to attack. I mean, there was a lot going on. I mean, from beginning to end, it was pretty much good. You know, there's a lot here, too. Certainly not whiteboard material with all these songs. And it got off to a great start. Oh, Meat Goggles also mentioned that this show featured his favorite 5.5 minutes of Phish. And I was like, well, that'll probably be easy. It'll probably reveal itself. Not necessarily the case with so much going on in the show, but it certainly wasn't in the opening four songs: Chalk Dust Torture, Galula Papyrus, Rift, and Mound. Just like a great way to start the show. Everything played pretty nice there, but nothing too extraordinary. Just getting through the songs, and then we get into Stash, the first time of the night that they're going to play around a little bit. You kind of get into that middle section of the Stash Jam where they start to play around a little bit, and while it was very good, and then it goes into Kung, and then back into a quick finish of Stash. But I did not think that was probably his favorite 5.5 minutes of Phish ever, although it was very good. It was probably my favorite 5.5 minutes of this first set. And then we get the Glide, my friend. Again, you know, probably not it, but again, awesome stuff, really. I mean, these early 90s, there just was no duds, really, back then. And then you get into Reba, and then, okay, this jam here in the Reba, the last 5.5 minutes of that leading up into the whistle. And you did get the whistling in the Reba. Very strong stuff. You know, I was like, all right, well, maybe this is my favorite. I said the Stash was my favorite 5.5 minutes. Perhaps it was this Reba. Trey thanking everybody before they hit a Satin Doll and Cavern to end the set. And then we get into the second set, a David Bowie that maybe you've heard about. It was a little bit, you know, they were in and out of Bowie with the Allman Brothers, Jessica in there. Maybe not quite, you know, something that we would expect coming out of David Bowie, but there it was. And just so much, that's like that's 1993. What did you expect in 1993? You know, I'm kind of thinking like modern day versus then. I just maybe you would have expected it back then. I don't know. That's why these crazy shows. Like I say, 94 was my favorite. I sometimes forget about this spring and summer of 93, really. So the Bowie starts, and it seems like they're just going to play a David Bowie once they got past the Jessica thing, but then not so fast. It gets really kind of hard and heavy. This is another one. See, this is where I should have taken some notes as well, because between the there's just a lot. Like the Coil had some crazy stuff going on. The Bowie did, the Stash did. While the Reba wasn't too crazy, it was pretty amazing. And then, in fact, I should just pause this right now and let's re-listen to this David Bowie. It's the problem when I don't take any notes and I just listen to the show. I didn't really plan on listening to the whole thing either. That was the problem. When I sat down and started listening, I didn't plan on that being the time when I sat down and listened, but couldn't turn it off, you know, till we got to the horse. All right, I'm all fucked. They said somebody asked me last night, do you ever get sick of listening to Phish? And really the answer is no, especially when it's an awesome show like this. But sometimes I do get sick of making these videos, to be real. Like, it's a lot of fun, but right now I'm just not, I fucked it all. I fucked up, man. I listened to the show and I didn't take any notes, and now it's like all just sort of scrambled. I feel like Scrambled Greg from that shitty jam band. Guess I'll try again. This is also like my third try, man. I got 3 minutes in. I got all the way to the second set. Gotta start over. It's hot. Starting to get sweaty. Blood pressure's going up. The pressure's on, man. Can you deliver a good recap of such a classic show? Tell you right now, your favorite 5.5 minutes was the Amazing Grace Jam. Let's be real. Because everything else, you know, was pretty normal. Wild, but normal. And then you get into this Amazing Grace Apog. That was it, right? Boom. We're out of here. No, that wasn't it. Then we got a Killer Mike song. Let's get back on track, man. Who gives a shit? It's not like I'm a professional. Let's just keep this going. Hit the start button. We're resetting. Mind blown. All right, so fuck, man, I can't get back on track. The train has left the tracks. Hold on, let me pause this. Let's try again. We'll start over. Well, listen, I'm gonna refresh a little bit on this Bowie and the Coil and the mics. My God, man, I'm telling you, there's too much going on for my little pea brain. You know what it is, man? I've been trying to chill out on the Pepsi. Turns out that stuff's not real great for you, so I've been trying to, like, not drink as much. I need to have a glass. It's getting out of control, man. Okay, now we're back. You know what it was with this Bowie and Jessica? The Bowie doesn't really start, you know. It's like part Simpsons Tignals. Fishman's like kind of playing the beat to Bowie, and then they find their way into Jessica, but even it's a little bit clunky. Finally, you know, and again, more Simpsons. It's like that they were caught between, like, what are we doing here? Are we playing Bowie? Are we going to tease Jessica? Are we playing Jessica? Or are we doing more Simpson signals? And like I say, it's been a long time. I kind of don't remember all of the Simpson signals or all of the secret language. The Simpson signals were pretty obvious, I guess. But then some of the secret language I do not remember. And there was a little bit of that going on throughout this show. A lot of teases going on throughout this show. Trey really loves that fire, the Ohio Players fire. He really loves that one now. All right, so let's get back into the meat of this David Bowie. This sucker's badass. See, this is more like a proper Bowie intro. There you go. David Bowie. Larry Satin. Oh, it was right about the 4.5 minute mark. This Bowie shifts. It gets a little edgy, has a little darkness to it, a little bit heavy. This could be the best 5.5 minutes of the show. I don't know. To be determined. Yeah, it is. It's kind of heavy. It's a bit repetitive, but now the intensity's picking up. You know, we're about a minute into this jam. We're at the 5:47 mark. It's really picking up now. Yeah, it was a little weird, the Bowie Jessica back into Bowie, but once they got this Bowie jam going, yeah, now we're at 6.5 minutes. Almost has this big black furry creatures kind of feel to it, you know, a little bit of a madness. Now Trey's really kicking it in on the guitar. I might rescind that whole amazing. Okay, now you're getting some vocaling going on, some vocal effects. Oh, yeah. This top shelf Phish right here. And this is why it doesn't get old. We don't really need this part in the recap, do we? If I could play guitar, this is the face I would make right now. Somebody in the band didn't know what was going on. You could hear Trey go, "Have mercy, have mercy." Well, he only said it once. I added the second one, "Have mercy." I heard it, though. I don't know who's not paying attention. Paige, was it Paige? Come on, Paige, get it together. Paige too busy teasing the Stones. The Bowie back after the post Have Mercy Bowie is what I'm trying to spit out here. If you're a Bowie purist, this might be it for you. This was nice. No crash landing there. Okay, then we got into the Page segment, the It's I Squirming Coil. And the Squirming Coil was cool. It had like a little jam tacked onto the end. You know, Page does his little piano outro. And then the band comes back in. Had a little bit of a bluesy, maybe a Crossroadies feel to it. You know, maybe a little bit of a sign of what's to come. But it was all right. You know, maybe I overrated it a bit. I thought the Squirming Coil might have been one of the moments. It was just good. Real good, but not the moment. Is Big Ball Jam the dumbest thing they've ever done? I mean, they took some chances. That was one they swung and missed. You know, and around the 445, 450 mark of this Mike's, it really seems like they're going to go into Simple, except Simple would not debut for another year. Come on, that's Simple. That was nice. They worked their way from Mike's, you know, the final minute or so of that Mike's jam smoothly into Crossroads, and then the Crossroads back into Mike's. Not quite as smooth. And then the Weekapog, you know, the Weekapog was not much of anything, and then you kind of start to, they're dropping off of the Weekapog, and it sounded like they were going to go back into some reggae or something, but it was Amazing Grace they were working towards, and then the Amazing Grace gives way to the Amazing Grace Jam, which becomes the Weekapog. The Amazing Pog Wika Jam or something. I don't know. I don't know. And then we got an AC/DC bag encore. I have no idea what has just happened. We're 9 minutes in. It's definitely been a lot more than 9 minutes since I first sat down and hit record. This was a long one. This took up most of my morning, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and hopefully, Meat Goggles, you see this. I don't know if this one was worth it. This was an awesome show, but whew. Felt like a lot of work for what? Thanks for being a member. I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but it just felt like a lot for a little. So hopefully people at least watch. Leave me even if you thought it sucked and you hated it, say something nice. I don't know, man. So I didn't waste half of my morning. All right, 3/4 of my morning. I wasted my entire morning listening to this show, really. But it was my fault. I couldn't get it together. I can't even get the outro together. Boom. I'll play 6 more songs and then you guys will start booing. Boom.